We're live. Wow. How we doing today? It's exciting to have you here on our show today. This is the weekly hangout with Coach Manny. You may be watching me recorded because while you're watching this, I might actually be out on the mountains having a good time. Hey, it's great to have you here today because we're going to talk about lead generation today. But I hope you all made last week's session. And if you didn't, I hope you've been able to follow up and watch that great interview with Carol Ann, because I want to tell you, if you are looking at branding, that was a great session, and we got some really positive feedback on it. And I'm glad you're here today, because today I don't have a guest, but guess what? Next week, join us again, because I'm going to have Eleanor here to talk about networking, and she is just one of the best lady networkers that I have the privilege to know. She's spoken at our boot camp in the past. I'm actually speaking at a couple of her events, and I spoke not that long ago for her. So it's just an exciting time here on the weekly webinar. So let's get started, because we got a lot to cover today. And remember, this is only session one of the ways you can generate leads, because we got them all. And I really think that if you're going to put together an effective lead following process or a lead generating process, you have to look at all the things. And I call it a 5x5, because what I want you to do is, out of all the things, I want you to say, these are the 5 main ways that I'm going to generate leads. And they will be called your tier 1 leads. And then we're going to find 5 more, which are the secondary. So we're going to probably, over the webinar series, show you 30, 40, maybe more ways to generate leads. And you're going to have to select the 5 top. That doesn't mean they're going to be the 5 top forever. It just means you got to make a decision, right? And you know how I am. You know, that's maybe you don't know that the Decision Institute, which is really what I boiled all this under, is really came out of the fact that it is so frustrating when people don't make decisions. So you're going to have to make a decision. These are the 5 first, and these are 5 second, and all these other things I'm not going to really play with right now. I may touch them once in a while, but these are. Because you know what? 10 ways to generate leads. If you don't generate enough leads, you're not using them effectively, and maybe you need to pull one out and put a different one in. That's just the way it goes. So 5x5, let's get started. And I like to start with one that I think most of us out there are going to take a look at, and that is networking. Now, networking, what about it? Isn't that's where you go and let's just talk for a moment on live in-person networking events. These are events where you're going to go to the event and you're going to meet people, and you're going to introduce yourself, and you're going to start to build relationships. You're going to collect cards. You're going to get people to talk. You got that? Not talk at people. You're going to get people to talk, and you're going to start to build your connection base. There are a few things that you need to look at. Number one is there are an array of hundreds and literally thousands of networking events you can go to. How do I know which ones are right? Well, you have to spend some time. You got to go to events. And remember, this is all part of why you need a marketing process. You got to go to events where people are going to be at who could potentially use what you have, or people who go to the event are going to be good connectors for you. So it is important that you go to the right events. It is important that you have a good pitch. Don't do it by the seat of your pants. You know, I was in a presentation yesterday, and I always get angry when people do presentations, and I can watch it and say, man, you got up this morning, you remembered you had a presentation to do, and it was just, that's what it looked like. And, you know, any of us who have been around know what that looks like. So when you do your 30-second pitch, or maybe you get 60 seconds to pitch a prospect, don't make it look like you just thought of it out of your head. Make it, but don't make it look like you just memorized it either, but make it look natural. Hi, my name is Manny Nowak. I help entrepreneurs build sales strategies. That's it. That's what I do. Now, they may ask questions and I may elaborate on that, but don't say, well, I do this. And what is it you do? I do everything, right? And you know how I feel about people who do everything. There's no such thing. Have a list of questions. And, you know, get yourself that array of a dozen questions that you can put in your pocket. And you know what? If you don't know what they are originally, or you don't know initially, I guess a better word, you don't know initially what questions ask, find 12 questions. Get my book, The Many Ways of Networking, TOO. You know, you can pick up the version on Amazon for the Kindle version for, I think, $2.99. So spend $2.99. There's a list in there. There's probably 30 or 40 questions in there if you don't know what questions to ask. But anyway, ask some questions. Is so important. So write them on an index card, and if you don't know what to say, look at the card and say, oh, well, and start asking the questions. Now, the other thing on that one, if you have a chance to set up that meeting, let's say you have an opportunity and a guy says, you know what, Manny, I think you and I should meet. I think maybe I could use what you have. Don't say, well, we need to definitely get together. I will call you next week and we'll see if we can set up a meeting. No, listen to me. No, never, whether it's networking or anywhere, never say, I'll connect with you next week, or I'll call you, or I'll email you. Come on. This is, when are we recording this? 2016. Everybody out there should have a smartphone. And what is it they say? If you don't have a smartphone, what kind of phone do you have? I'll let you fill it in. Take out your phone and let's set the meeting up right now. Right now. Because guess what? You know how it is. You try to call somebody, they're not in, you're not in. You try to email them, the email gets, come on. Right now, you're both sitting there. I'm face to face with you. Let me get my phone out. Let me right now. Okay, we're on for next Thursday at 6. And we're done. So don't forget that. That is so critically important, and I want you to remember that. And if you have a business card with a picture on it, you know, and people bust me and say, I can't do that in my industry. Look, the real estate people did it first. And you say, well, why did the real estate people do it? And you know what the answer is? Because to remember who you are. When I go to a networking event and I come back, I got a stack of cards and I don't have any cards here, so I'll tell you that story later. I go to a networking event, I have a stack of cards. I come back and I say, Joe Smith, Jane Roger. Who was that? I think. Right? I mean, that's what happens. But if you have the picture on there, like when people meet me at an event, they got my picture, they know right away when they pull out my card, that's Manny Nowak. I remember him. And remember, that's what it's about. So networking is one of the ways that you can generate leads. A face-to-face networking. Now, that's not the only kind of networking. In today's world, there is what we call networking online, which is meeting people through a tool like LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and a bunch of others. And what that really means there is you find somebody that on LinkedIn, let's look at LinkedIn and online networking. You find somebody, you say, I'd like to connect to that person. So you write them a request to connect, and then they connect with you. So now you're starting to do online networking. Now you may send them an email or a message directly on LinkedIn. How you doing? It's good to be connected with you. Something simple like that. A few days later, you might send them another note. You know, we're connected on LinkedIn now. How about we have a phone conversation? And that's just how you start networking online. So networking is a lead generating process, whether it's online or offline. What you have to decide, and I really, unless you're in some strange business or you're in really a B2C business or a B2G business, well, even in B2G, but anybody out there in a B2B business, you got to have networking on your A list. I don't think it's anywhere else because it is just one of the ways in which you should be generating business. All right, let's look at the second thing I want to talk about today is something called lead groups. Now, B&I, whether you know, people are either love them or hate them, it's that kind of relationship. I'm not here to judge or to tell you whether one or the other is the best. I'm here to tell you that B&I really started this thing or really took it to the next level. And a B&I group is that type of group, a LaTip group. There are hundreds, thousands of private groups. I belong to some private groups, like one of the groups that I belong to is South Jersey Business Association. Another one is Business Owners Networking Group. These are lead groups, and what that means is they get together, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and what the purpose is for the people inside the group to share connections, to get to know who they are, to get to know each other, and to be able to pass business back and forth. Again, this is a highly profitable way to get leads, but sometimes some businesses are better. If you are in any kind of personal service, whether it be or contracting or construction business, where you're doing electric work, plumbing, heating, landscaping, any of those businesses, you need to be in one of these groups because this is a great place. People within the group, first of all, are going to use you. And second of all, they've got other people that are going to use you. So a lead group, that's exactly what it is. It usually costs you a fee to be a member. This kind of group may be on A list for some of you, B, or not at all for others. But it is a great way to generate business. But listen to me. Don't get in a lead group and spend, I've seen people a month or two and say, I'm not getting anything, I'm out of here. Because like me, I've been in one lead group now for a while. I haven't got any leads, but that's okay. I'm building relationships and I know the leads are coming. And we're not here to talk about all the detail. We'll talk about that in our follow-up process, or perhaps you have already got our product, double your sales, which is just one of those great things. And I'll talk a little bit about double your sales, and then I'll talk a little bit about our upcoming boot camp. Well, I could talk right now because we're kind of like near the middle. I just want to take a moment and say that our boot camp is coming up. Please go out to our webpage. Just type in MannyNowak.com, MannyNowak.com. Get out there and check out the upcoming marketing automation boot camp. What a day it is going to be. I just finalized some of the great speakers for there. So we got a speaker on LinkedIn. We got a speaker on CRM. We got a speaker on content in a social media environment. We got networking. This is going to be the event for you. So, and we got it down to 1 day now. And for those of you who thought the day was too long, we got down to 8 hours. And we've got an 8 hours rock your world event. So don't forget that. That's March 16th, 2016. Depends on when you're watching this. Could be many years ago. I don't know. But we always got these going on. So please stay connected to our website. Let's keep going. So far we've talked about networking and we've talked about lead generating groups as being two ways to generate leads. Let's go to number 3. The third thing I want to talk about, and let me grab a drink here before I lose my voice. All right, third thing we're going to do is generate business via email. Now that can be in a variety of ways that you can do that, but even if you don't have a huge list, I talked to people recently, and one of the things they said was, I said, you've been in business for a number of years. How big's your list? Well, I just really started putting it together recently. Now, that's one of the problems. email's been around now. I've been really actively working email since the year 2000 or late 1999. So emails have been around a long time. Email marketing's been around a long time. If you don't have a list, build one, because this becomes one of the greatest assets of your organization. And you need to understand that. Your email list is an asset. So the better, stronger it is, not necessarily bigger. Because I know people who have lists under $5,000, under 5,000 names, that are rocking and making all kinds of money because the people on their list are good. Other people may have twice that many and aren't making money because they're just throwing names. So get an email out, but consistency is critical. If you're going to do a regular email, make sure it's two things. One, educational, and two, consistently going out. If it's bi-weekly, it goes out every other week on the same day at the same time. And why do I say that? Because people who like it will be expecting it. I do a weekly piece, and if you're on my A list, you get about 9:15 Monday night, and you get it every week at that time. And if you're looking for it, you say, wow. Or maybe perhaps you're ready Tuesday morning when it comes in, when you get to work or you get to your computer. So email is a critical way for you to generate leads, because what you're doing is you're throwing education out there. I've gotten some of my biggest customers through email because I've continuously educated them and helped them to grow. And right along with email, let's at this point talk about newsletters, because newsletters can be email or they can be printed. What I do in an online newsletter is you don't use that old format. Now let's separate them for a minute. Let's talk about email newsletters first, and then we'll talk about printed, because they both still have a tremendous purpose. And I've actually added some more stuff, so we'll get there. All right, so the email newsletter should be plain text. Now, I want you to just think about that for a minute. I don't want to see all that fancy pictures. I don't want to see this article. I don't want to spend all that money on this super beautiful design, because guess what? If I can't read it within 8 seconds, I'm probably not going to look at it. So you need to give people something that they can glance at, that consistently comes to them, that shows them, has a headline that they're interested in, and that educates them. And that's the key. Now, if you're going to do printed, then, and there aren't that many printed, it's got to be a quality looking piece. I mean, you walk around, which are the newsletters that you pick up? The ones that are on really nice paper, right? The ones that maybe have a good looking picture on the front. If you're in a business where you can put your newsletters into doctors' offices, or perhaps you can put them into some other kind of waiting areas, or you can put them into supermarkets or whatever, put a nice looking newsletter together. And, you know, that piece will be out there for a lot longer. So it might have a shelf life of a week or two, and you consistently put it out there and people look at it. Again, make sure that both of these newsletters have links in them which show people how to get to your stuff. There's nothing worse, and it happens, and people say, really? I said, yeah. People actually will send out emails and send out newsletters and print newsletters without having some way for people to connect to you, or without having some offer. And people say, are you kidding me? No, I'm dead serious. And what a problem that is. Guess what? Because what's the purpose here? I'm trying to get some business. You know, we may kid about it and all that stuff, but the bottom line is, I send these newsletters out so I can generate some business. So get smart enough and realize that you've got to put those links in there. How we doing? I think we're okay. We can do a few more, or at least a couple more. Let's talk about blogs. Now, I heard recently from some people, blogs are dead. And I'm here to assure you, blogs are not dead. In fact, I had just, I think it was last or earlier this week, I had a blog print on somebody did an interview on me for an article they were using, and they sent me the link, and I said, wow, this is great. So I now set up the link to that blog. Blogs are alive and kicking. And if you can get interviewed or you can get your information out there on a blog, it is gold. And if you have your own blog, like I have a blog, I have a website, and the middle of the website is a blog. So even though all this stays pretty much static, the middle is always this week's article or maybe midweek update on something. And what happens is that piece of, like in my case, I'll do an education piece. It gets indexed. So I always put everything first on my blog, and I make sure that when I go up and I take the link for that blog, and I'll go out to Google and I'll search it, not in the web thing, in the search box. And I'll make sure that that blog has a posting on Google. So when people do a search, they will find it. And once that happens, I'll take the blog article and then I'll throw it out on LinkedIn. I may throw it out on eZine articles or some other place, but never until it's on my blog. I want people to know that the original place that this data was sent was my blog, and that gets traffic. Now, it gets people coming in, it gets people looking, and again, what's the action? There has to be some action in your blog, just like there has to be some action in your newsletters. Come on, if you're wondering, why am I not getting any business? Because I'm not asking. That is so important. I mean, people think, Manny, you're crazy. Do people really do it? Yes, they really do it. They put out stuff and they wonder why they're not getting no action. And the bottom line is they didn't ask for it. So ask for it. And one of the best guys, I want to share this link with you that you can look at, who really, if you're looking to do a blog, get a copy of his book. And that is Steve Scott. And his website is Steve, S-T-E-V-E, Scott, S-C-O-T-T, site, S-I-T-E.com. SteveScottSite.com, or just go out and Google Steve Scott. The man has, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 ebooks out there to help you. I've probably read over a dozen or a dozen and a half of them. They're all great little tools, but if you're looking to do a blog, get his little book on blogs. It'll help you tremendously. All right, how about I do one more with you, and then we'll probably be done for today, time-wise, and we'll pick this up in the future. I've got some other great guests. Janet Garrity is going to be joining us on a future hangout, and make sure you get to our boot camp, because Janet's actually speaking live there. But Janet's going to be on one of these hangouts coming soon. Brad Thornburg, who's our CRM expert, and who else? And there's a number of people, a couple social media people. So we got some great guests coming. And when we don't have a guest, I like to teach something like today, and we only got to start teaching this. So there's so much more. But let's talk about affiliates. Affiliates are a great way to not just get leads. Affiliates are a great way to sell business. And if you are doing any kind of online marketing, you need to have an affiliate relationship with certain companies out there. And what does that mean, you say to Manny? Well, what that means is that there is a company out there that has a product that fits your market. Now, in my case, one of my affiliate relationships is with, let's look at Howard Yermish, because some of you know Howard, most of you know. Howard Yermish and I have an affiliate relationship. Howard has a product, and I am one of his affiliates, which means I will push his product on my site, and for that, we get an affiliate commission for selling them. And people are affiliates of mine. Okay, you know how I have that double your sales self-study course. I have people out there who sell that for me. When they sell it on their website, they get a commission from me for selling it. That is a tremendous way to do more business. And, you know, you can't become a site that doesn't do anything but that, because that's what's called, well, I won't go there. But the point is, if you sell, like I sell coaching, I have an affiliate relationship with a great LinkedIn tool. I have an affiliate relationship with Infusionsoft because it's a great CRM. I have an affiliate relationship with a couple other tools. And these are all products that I feel are important to my customers. I'm going to recommend, I'd recommend them even if I didn't get a commission. And you know what I always tell people is you can just go straight to their site. It's going to cost you the same price. But if you buy through my site, I'm going to get some commission. Now, sometimes we actually discount products from affiliates, and we try to work a deal for you, which makes it even better. So affiliates are a great lead generating process, and one you should look at. Wow. So we got through what, 5 today? And I have so many more. So we're going to do some more programs on this. Now, if you really want to see it, of course, in our Double Your Sales process, you can pick up one of the chapters. There's an hour teaching on these things. There's a whole book, that study guide, that explains each one in more detail, shows you how to do it, shows you how to pick the 5. So go out to our website again. Double Your Sales is a great product. And don't forget the boot camp coming up. March 16th, 2016. We are rocking with this event, and we want you there. You know, you're going to get a chance to meet people just like you. High energy, motivated, wanting to grow. Isn't that who you are? People who want to build a business that's going to take off and it's going to rock. What would be better than to spend a day with, 50 or 100 people like that and build a relationship, start new relationships with 10, 15, 20 of them, because we do some networking, we do some mastermind. So you're going to leave this event and you're going to have started these relationships. So, and for $97, are you kidding me? That's it. That's the whole price for the boot camp, the full day. And we're doing it in conjunction with 2 of our great partners, Gloucester County College, Rowan University at Gloucester County, and South Jersey Business Institute from the Gloucester County Chamber. These are 2 of our great partners. And, you know, if it's coming through with those guys, it's got to be great stuff. And then there's me. I'm in the middle. So, wow, we got great tools. So I hope you've liked this. I hope it's taken you and educated and given you some stuff. Stay tuned. We got more every week, 12 noon Eastern time. We are hanging out. This is Coach Manny saying, wow, it has been a blast. Thank you. Get out there and make this a better world.